MSUB men's basketball returns home for 2 more GNAC games coming up this week. Jordan, is a tough weekend for the guys on the road, a couple of losses in Seattle, but you really played a good game personally against Seattle Pacific. Talk about the fact that the team lost, but you had a good game there.
Well, yeah, like you were saying, I did have a good game. I don't know, I just came out just trying to keep things simple, and just try to knock down shots when I had the opportunity to do so.
Talk about getting back into the swing of things. You had a little bit of a slow start to the season, injury, you missed some time, but 17 points and 6 rebounds, both season highs against Seattle Pacific. What were you feeling comfortable with your game?
I don't know, just feeling comfortable with the fact that I wasn't injured anymore, and just feeling 100% healthy, and just getting back to how things were, how I was playing last year. So.
That's right. You finished last season with maybe the 2 best games of your career to end the year, so an encouraging sign for you against SPU. What are you going to work on in practice this week to hope that that translates to Western Washington on Thursday?
Just the same things I've been doing, working up to the point for SPU. Really, just trying to knock down my shots and try to handle the ball without turning the ball over and everything like that.
So this is a team that was really hot going into last weekend. You guys hit a bit of a roadblock. Talk about what you're going to focus on to get back on track. These are 2 teams that you beat on the road earlier in the season.
Just working on our composure. When teams go on runs, we've lately just been kind of just letting the game get away from us. So just working on our composure to, withstand their runs, excuse me.
And then at Western Washington, when you guys won, it was kind of a boat race, 100 to 93. You guys held them off. Do you expect a similar type game when they come in on Thursday?
Kind of, but we're both good offensive teams. But I hope that it becomes like more of a game where we're defending really well and everything, and we'll just let the offense take care of itself.
And then Simon Fraser was a one-sided win, 107 to 66. You guys really played well offensively and didn't give much up on the defensive end. What's it going to take to replicate that performance and have a strong game against them again?
Just like you're saying, the defense. They turned over the ball a lot in that game, and it was all because of our defense, our goal, and everything like that. So, it's a big defensive weekend.
Coach talked to you guys a little bit about a goal being no empty weekends, being a weekend where you lose both games.
Mm-hmm.
That just happened to you guys, but you still have 5 more GNAC series the rest of the way. What are you guys going to do to work to achieve that goal the rest of the year?
Like you're saying, no empty weekends, and just pay attention to our coaching, know our personnel, and come out to each game focused.
Well, last week was probably not one of our better weeks. It was just, we went back, watched a lot of the film, and I think obviously we ran into 2 teams that were playing really, really good basketball, and just I don't think we had the same defensive edge maybe that we've had in previous weeks against other teams, but I don't want to just sit here and say it was all our defense, because that's taken away. I think St. Martin's and Seattle Pacific played extremely well. I mean, they combined 32 for 53 and from the 3-point line, and that's just incredible shooting. They both played really, really well. I just think that, obviously we can play better defensively, and we can compete a little bit better on the defensive end, but I think that was just a part of it. I think part of it is we just ran into 2 good teams that played really, really well and made shots. We could go out there right now with nobody in the gym. I don't know if we'd go 32 for 53 shooting the ball from 3. So they were ready for us. They were prepared for us. We just did not have a good week. We had some issues with our travel, and it just wasn't a good week. It was a typical middle of the season kind of week, and now as a team, how mature are we to be able to bounce back? This is the start of a new, the second half of the season. And we have the number 1 team in the league coming in, and then we have the number 11 team in the league coming in. It's really a kind of a different week at home, but we're playing the most talented team in the league, a team that's 9-1, and their only loss was us. So they're going to be prepared, and they're going to be hungry, and they're going to want to avenge that loss. So we just need to bounce back. We need to play better than we did last week, and we kind of just need to put last week behind us because nothing went right.
You talked about with the guys not having any empty weekends where you go 0-2. That obviously happened last week, but as you mentioned, the second half of league play starting. Is that still going to be a goal moving forward, and what will be the focus on achieving that goal?
Well, it's always a goal to you don't want to have those empty weeks where you go in and you don't get a win out of either game. We hadn't done that up till that point, up till last week. And it was just I think one thing we just need to get back to just going back to work at practice and I feel like there's a couple areas we can clean up, especially on the defensive side, but we didn't rebound the ball real well. I just feel like we kind of had to go back to basics this week and get ready for a really good team.
As you mentioned, Western Washington leading the GNAC coming in here. They went 9-1 in the first half. Their one loss came to MSUB. You guys went in and beat them on the road 100-93 on New Year's Eve. What worked in that game? How much of that will translate into Thursday's matchup? Or are you starting from a clean slate and preparing differently?
I feel like we're starting from a clean slate. I think there was a lot of things that obviously in our 2 losses last week, I think a lot of different things went into it. And I think when we won at Western Washington, I think a lot of different things went into it. Western had just played the night before at Simon Fraser, so they probably didn't have as much preparation for us. It was a week where both of us were coming off of the NCAA winter break dead period, so we had 3 practices in 2 days to prepare for Simon Fraser and Western Washington, and they were in the same boat. So it was just one of those weird weeks where I don't think either team had a lot of preparation time, and they had played the night before. So there was a lot of things that kind of went into that week, and then it was just one of those situations where we shot it really well and made enough plays down the stretch to win. So we know they're going to be a lot different team this week than they were then, and I hope we are as well. And then it just comes down to, we preach to our guys a lot about one, going out and competing, but also throughout the course of a game, there's just hundreds and hundreds of different one-on-one battles that happen throughout the course of a game, whether it be just stepping up making shots or whether it be 2 guys going for rebounds. And what we preach to our guys is we got to find a way to win a majority of those battles. You have to go out and win those one-on-one battles throughout the course of a basketball game. And for whatever reason, I would say about 90% of those one-on-one battles last week we did not win, and we have to win more of those. And when we played Western Washington previously, we were fortunate, and our guys did a nice job of winning some of those battles, and we know we're going to have to do that again this week to have success against, like I said, I think the most talented team that we'll face all year.
And then Simon Fraser, the last place team, they have yet to win a conference game. One of MSUB's biggest wins this year came at Simon Fraser, 107-66. What worked in that game? How comfortable did you feel? And will you be looking for some similar tendencies when you play them this time?
Well, it was just a game we played well defensively and kind of took them out of some things they wanted to do. And then, as simple as we made 14 threes, and we made 14 threes against Western Washington when we beat them. And we made 14 threes against Fairbanks when we beat them. And then last week, we made 18 threes, combined both games. So sometimes, it obviously there's energy, and you got to play with edge, and you got to do some things defensively, and you got to win the rebounding battles. But other times it's, hey, you just got to go make some shots. And we did that the previous 2 games against these teams, Western and Simon Fraser. We made shots. And sometimes you have to go out and just do that. And that's what we did at Simon Fraser. I don't care what their record is. They're a scary team. They played Western Washington really tough. They played Northwest Nazarene really tough. They're competitive, and they're going to be hungry. They're a team that is playing to get that first win, and if you do not show up, you can get beat. So we'll be prepared, but obviously most of our energy right now is focused on the Thursday game, which happens to be Western.